Hey folks, this is the other Barack coming to you live and direct from Israel. Today we have a video of former US President Bill Clinton talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict last year, 2024, with the New York Times. Let's take a look.
Look, I think what's happened there in the last 25 years is one of the great tragedies of the 21st century. And when I tell the young people, for example, who are understandably in America, let's say they're super sympathetic with the Palestinians. Well, they've been killed, a lot of those Palestinians have, and all they know is that a lot more Palestinians have been killed than Israelis. And I tell them what Arafat walked away from.
So important to remember in the early 1990s when Bill Clinton facilitated the signing of the Oslo Accords. And he clearly, you can just tell how emotional he is, right? You can see how emotional he is when it comes to what he said. I mean, we say it all the time, one of the most complicated things in the world. This Middle Eastern conflict, this issue between Arabs and Jews and Israel and its neighbors and its enemies, and how everything is perceived in the media. And later in life, when Arafat walked away from initially having the opportunity to potentially create some peace, and you can see the emotional part that I really understand for Bill, President Clinton, is the fact that he literally had so much skin in the game and opportunity to shapeshift this world when it comes to one of the most complicated, deepest, most complex conflicts that we have on planet Earth. And to be a human being, just like you watching this, you drink the same water and you sleep just like him and you wake up just like him, could have he could have continued to have such a massive impact beyond the impact that he already has when it comes to how things have changed in this war. But forgetting this historical context, which he's getting to, about people today in 2025 who don't understand what Yasser Arafat walked away from in the Camp David summit in the 2000s, which just was and then the continuous rise of the second Intifada, if you will, after the first one. And I lived in Israel during this time. To here we are today.
And they can't believe it. I said, oh yeah, he walked away from a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem, 96% of the West Bank, 4% of Israel, to make up for the 4% that the settlers occupy that were beyond the borders in the 67 war.
96%. 96% of the West Bank. Gaza, a capital in East Jerusalem, control of Islamic holy sites. This could have been a massive step towards peace, because so many people talk about how the fact that they want peace in the Middle East. And he sits there, and it's not that he can, there's nothing to regret, really. Maybe there's a couple things he could have done, but how much more could you have done with somebody whose real intention was violence? Somebody whose real intention was what stirred up this entire wave and epidemic of continuous cycles of attacks. And, you know, obviously some people were upset with Arafat, you know, thinking that if you do this, we're going to get towards peace, closer towards peace. And people intentionally got in the way of that. People intentionally made it clear that there are so many people in this region who are against the idea of having peace with Israel. And so the emotion coming out of him and the fact that he has to teach the younger generation here today still that this context is really important, because when we talk about which side has been willing to come to the roundtable discussion continuously, historically, over and over to achieve peace in the Middle East, that side is Israel. And he knows that. He knows that deep down.
And I go through all the stuff that was in the deal, and they it's not on their radar screen. They can't even imagine that happened. And I tell them, you know, the first and most famous victim of an attempt to give the Palestinians a state was Prime Minister Rabin, whom I think loved as much as I ever loved another man. And so Rabin, he
Yitzhak Rabin, for those of you who weren't able to understand what he was saying.
dies, and then Shimon Peres is defeated in the election, and where the rest of it is history. But you walk away from these once-in-a-lifetime peace opportunities, and you can't complain 25 years later when the doors weren't all still open and all the possibilities weren't still there. You can't do it. It's just...
Your voice just cracked when you said that.
Yeah. I'm an old guy. I have my regrets. That's one of them.
I did say earlier in this video, maybe he doesn't have any regrets. And everyone will have regrets, especially somebody who used to be the president of the United States of America, who facilitated potential, I don't know if you can call it long-lasting peace between Israel and Palestine, or the Palestinian people. But obviously, when you see what is unfolding today in the increasing amount of hate and violence and means of wanting to destroy one another, you can only imagine what it feels like for someone like him who, like he said, these once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. You don't get opportunities to facilitate, peace negotiations that often. And you don't get the opportunity to say that you were once often part of the process, which you can only imagine in President Clinton's head. Let's say there were more steps that we achieved closer towards peace back in the 1990s and early 2000s. Can you imagine the Middle East that we would have today? I really mean that. Like, as somebody who contemplates having a family in Israel and children in Israel, it's like, I always have to ask myself, is what I know what to be the Middle East and Israel and all of the complexities around it going to basically just be a repeat history for my children too if they live here? Is there ever a light at the end of the tunnel to potentially envision and realize and live a completely different Middle East? I want to hope that. I want to think that. I want to believe that. Who wouldn't? And you can see the pain in President Clinton's eyes because he's somebody who obviously wanted this region to get along, wanted Jews to get along with Arabs and Arabs to get along with Jews. And I sort of feel bad looking at how he still today is going to sit back and have this, what he would call regret of maybe not being able to do something else or something different. And so with that being said, it's always incredible to look back when you're looking at some of the people who had facilitated some of the most crucial moments in time when it comes to this conflict. And President Clinton is one of those people. Thank you so much. Please support the channel. I will see you guys next video. If you believe in me and you want to support, you can donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee. Every little bit helps. But honestly, the best way to support is by joining the Inner Circle on Patreon, where you get exclusive perks, bonus content, and allow me to continue to make impactful videos and grow this platform. Do not forget to check out our Discord community with people from all over the world. We're having debates, meaningful dialogue every single day. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. I'll see you next time.